So we're going to start with the list of the mitzvos in the koseres, and then we're going to go through the Sefer mitzvos, and that'll be for today. Okay. So look at on the back of the packet, last page. We have Hilchos Chametz u'matzah, the laws of leaven and flatbread. Yesh b'chol shmona mitzvos. There are 8 mitzvos. Shlosh mitzvos zeh v'chamesh mitzvos lo taseh. 3 positive, 5 negative. The zehu pertain. And these are they. This is the one everyone forgets. Shlo lechol chametz b'yom 14 mechatos hayom u'lamala. Not eat chametz on the 14th of Nisan from midday and on. Yes, it is a raisa, and it is a different isser than the rest, right? So that's number 1. 2, lahashbis or me'arbasar, to destroy. We'll just say for now, right? But we'll have to see what he actually holds it is. The chametz, to destroy leaven from the 14th. 3rd is shalolech or chametz kol shiva, not to eat chametz all 7, and that's why I was saying can you be more specific when you said not eat chametz, because there are 2 of them not eat chametz. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Beer chametz. Yeah. Right. Yeah. We'll go through those as we usually do, but let's just read the koseres first. Then the other reason I said keep be more specific is, which I think you did, someone mentioned, shalolechol taroves chametz kol shiva, not to eat a mixture of chametz all 7, which is a separate isser. 5 is shelo yira'eh chametz kol shiva, the chametz should not be seen all 7 days. And then 6, shelo yimatze chametz kol shiva, the chametz should not be found all 7 days, which obviously we have to understand what that is. 7, lechol matzah b'leilei haPesach, not to eat matzah on the nights of Pesach. And then 8, l'saper b'tzias mitzrayim be'ozo laila, to tell the story of the exodus from Egypt on that night. Yeah. Okay, so let's go through the Sefer mitzvos. Okay, and we're gonna do all the Sefer mitzvos in one shot, and then we'll go through to the Mishnah Torah in one shot after that. Alrighty, so turn to the first page, and I just basically tried to get them all in order, more or less. Okay, so kuf tzadi tes ha-mitzvah ha-teshav tishim umeah. And since Isaac is looking at the minion mitzvos, can you tell us what's before this one? Oh, you know what? We're gonna do the one before this one at a later point, oddly enough. All right, fine, whatever. Actually, you know what? Maybe we should get Mishnah Torahs and look at the let's look at it. Yeah, thank you. I have tattoos. I didn't get there yet. Okay. Just opening up Asay and Los Asay. All of the Asay yeah. All right. So let me just go to this screen and section. Yeah. Okay. So this is this place to look. This is okay. Right. So the first one is which number did you say? Kuftadi test. Yeah. Kuftadi test in the Los Asays, right? Kuftadi test. Nine. Yeah, so that is Shaloleh Echol Chametz Achar Chatzos Yom Arba Asar Shenemar Lo Sochal Alav Chametz. So not to eat chametz on the after midday on the 14th. As I say, do not eat upon it chametz. Okay, so that's a little ambiguous for now, but let's now look at the Sefer Mitzvos and see what it says. So Kuf Tzadi Ches. Test, right? Yeah. Tzadi test, yeah. Hashar Shu Harnu Milech Chametz Achar Chatzos Yom Arba Asar. V'hu Amro Lo Sochal Alav Chametz. Hakinoi Hazeh. This kinoi now doesn't mean divine name. That's uncommon. It means the pronoun, I think. The don't eat on it. So what's the it? Musa, yes. Musav al keves ha pesach asher chova l'shachato bein ha'arbaim yom arba'asar. So it refers back to the paschal lamb, right? Keves is a lamb or a no lamb. A goat, yeah, right. So those are the 2 animals. Yeah. What was that? Oh, you did. Ah, kevesh. Yes, yeah. I also said ram. Yeah. Good way of being wrong though. Yeah. So but I guess he called it Paschal lamb and kevis. Yeah, I think I'm right. I think kevis can mean both. Well, kesef is the other weird way to say it though, because it's kesef and kevis, and they're both the same word.
Yes, it's so weird.
Yeah. Anyway, but Paschal lamb, asher chova l'shachto ben arbaim, that you have an obligation to shecht it in the afternoon on the day of the 14th. L'fikach, therefore, nemar, it was stated ki mi sheyachu zman shchitaso. Once the time of its slaughtering falls out, lo sochel chametz, then you cannot eat chametz, right? So that's the thing, is that you can't eat chametz during the time when you're supposed to be shechting the korban pesach, or the whole time period that's called for it. Very weird. Weird Esther, you know. And I've never really looked into it before, but like we know why there's an issur to eat chametz on Pesach, you know, because the Jews didn't have time to let their bread rise. But is this the same philosophy? Is it like what the fact that it's a different losa say and it's connected to Korban Pesach? Like it feels like a weird that it's its own doraisa. I don't know why. That's not a halachik argument. That's just a icky feeling. Yeah. Yeah.
And it also gets weird because it's like also if when you're bringing the korban pesach and you hold something, so it's like
yes.
It's like
yeah. The fact that it has effects outside of just violating the issur.
Yeah.
So it says in the Gemara Pesachim, from where do you know that one who eats chametz from 6.5 hours and onwards is violates lo saseh? Shneimar lo sochal alav chametz, says you should not eat over the chametz. So just go really quickly, right? Who's holding in like mincha gedola, mincha ketana, halachic hours? Well, what hours are we talking about for? Let's just make sure we get the facts. And what are Shabbos manios?
From sunrise to sunset,
right. So from sunrise to sunset, you divide into 12 equal portions, and each one is a halachic hour. And then there's 2 mincha periods. There's mincha gedola and mincha ketana. And you know the significance of them?
Oh, it's one is like when you're supposed to bring, and one is like the earliest.
Right. So you're supposed to bring so there's 2 tamidim. There's the 2 daily offerings. There's the tamid shel shachar in the morning, and then the tamid shel bein harbaim in the afternoon. You bring the tamid shel bein harbaim in mincha ketana, which is 9.5 shalos manios into the day, and that's like the last korban that is that's like the last korban brought on a normal day of the tzibur. But then on Pesach, because there's so many korban Pesachs that they have to process, you bring the tamid shel bein harbaim at the earliest possible time. 6.5 hours into the day, and then you bring you shech the korban pesachs and are makriv them, and so I guess the earliest time you could shech the korban pesach is at that earliest mincha time, for the earliest tamid shel bein harbaim time. Yeah, I think so. Okay, B'sham Nemar, there it is stated, D'chuli alma miha chametz mishesh shas u'lamala d'oraisa. Everyone holds that chametz from 6.5 hours and onwards is asar midoraisa. Kach matan lashon kol ha'takos hamatukanos shniku lifnei chachmei talmud. What? Does this throw a wrench in your whole theory? Oh, sorry. Such is we find in the inscriptions, the corrected inscriptions that were read before the Chachmei Talmud. You tell us what that refers to. Is that like their personal notes? Is that like some intermediate form of I think he's saying that's I think he's talking about the girsa of some text here. Look at the footnote 99. Maybe not. Okay, so that is later, yeah. Oh, so lifnei. Oh, so we says lifnei chachmei Talmud. I mean. Okay, that would make sense. Yeah. So, but the fact that he has to say this might mean that I guess that there are other versions that didn't say this, because otherwise, why does he have to say like not only l'chulei alma, but everyone wrote this, you know? So I don't know what he's referring to. V'sham nemar b'tam iser achilas chametz b'shar hashishis. There it says that the reason of the iser of eating chametz in the 6th hour, amru, they said, avdu rabbanan harchaka yisera, Kihechi de lo liga be'isur deoraisa. Okay, so in other words, like this, it is usher to eat chametz from the 6th hour, okay, in order to distance you from eating it, from violating isur deoraisa. And isur deoraisa is our isur of eating it from mincha katana and on, or mincha gedola and on. I think. If you violate the isur and eat chametz after chatzos, then you get malchus, and that's where you see. I mean, not that I need to prove it, but that it is a complete chametz on Pesach is chayav kares. This is chametz on Erev Pesach, and that's only chayav malchus, which is much less. Yeah. And the laws of this mitzvah are explained in the beginning of Pesachim. Yeah. It is interesting, though, by the way, that he does put this in Hilchos Chametz Umata, not in Hilchos Korban Pesach. One could think it could be neither one because this is contingent on Pesach, even though the Surah Isser is eating chametz or is yeah.
Well, even though we don't have the korban now,
that's a good question. Meaning maybe he put it here because we're still chayiv in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
like philosophically.
Right. Well, it's funny. It's halakhically dependent, but not in the it being extant. Meaning this it's structurally halakhically dependent on. If you didn't have Korban Pesach, then you wouldn't have this isser.
Well, it's almost like it just happens to be the same Zman. Like halakhically, it just happens.
It's more than just happens because it's lo sochal alav chametz. Oh, is that what you meant by philosophically?
Well, yeah, I'm saying that's just telling you the Zman, and it's the same Zman as
Yeah, I guess this gets down to what we consider to be halachic, because if Torsh Bal Peh is a pirush of Torsh B'Chsav,
Right.
and Torsh B'Chsav is saying that, then this is not just like giving a side ta'am, it's like explaining the structure.
I mean, the pasuk is
The Torsh Bal Peh, well, the pasuk is stating the structure,
right.
that the nature of this Isra Achila is to eat chametz over your Pesach, and then the Torsh Bal Peh is saying, what does it mean over? It means in the same Zman. But that's in my mind, it's halachic, but it's structural halachic, not like nafkamina halachic.
Okay.
And there is philosophy, but this is not like a purely philosophical idea. Like, yeah, that's how I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, I think that makes sense. Like, you know, like the moral
Right, because you.
Really depending on
It is really, or is not really?
it is.
It is. Yeah. Right. So, but you're saying he's put it here because it's Bisman Hazeh that we are nohegit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not entirely, but
Yeah.
I don't think that it's funny.
Right. I mean, Maror is easier to understand because it is part of the Seder Halayla, whereas like this is something that I don't know. To my mind, it's different. Like the fact that like all the brachos are part of the Seder Halayla. Like there's interactions between Maror and Karpas, and a bunch of other stuff. Like it's not as surprising to me that he includes Maror here, but it is more of a question that he puts this here. But I'm not saying it's a problem.
I mean, you can find it.
Yeah. Oh,
More is usually related.
I forgot to plug in the mic.
Whoa.
Oh, because we had a town hall meeting before. Oh,
Yeah. Can I hear you?
I hope so. It's going on my internal mic. But now I'm going to be paranoid that when I plug this in, it's not going to go. So I just got to do a sound check really quickly.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Audio. Now you can say it.
Testing 1, 2.
Yes. Okay, good. It's working. Okay. All right. Are we ready to go to the next mitzvah? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying in terms of like you're saying about Mara, you also say about this, like the reverse, the convert, which is this is like structurally part of like the process of Hilchos Pesach. It's like you can't eat chametz and you have to go to and you bring the perfect stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it fair to say that the Zman is dependent on Korban Pesach, but the chiyuv isn't?
Zman is dependent on Pesach, but the chiyuv isn't correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But in the chiyuv, you mean Itzer, right?
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is Kuf Nun Vav, which is later in the packet, but before in the book. I just put them in order here. So, yeah. Now, why does this? Oh, well, let's read it first. Kuf Nun Vav. It's just the next page. Is that true?
Yeah.
In the packet? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Kuf Nun Vav. HaMitzvah HaShesh v'Chamishim U'Me'ah. הציווי שניצבים להסיר את החמץ מרשותנו ביום 14 בניסן, וזוהי השבתת שאור. Okay, so the commandment we've been commanded to remove chametz from our property, or our possession, I guess is better translation, on the day of the 14th of Nisan, and this is hashbasas seor. Hashbasa is hard to translate, right? Because lahashbis is to cause to cease or to stop. But here it's really, I mean, we call it to destroy, right? And seor is leaven, okay, or sourdough, if you want to be. Well, you know what we'll do? Let's ask Josh Horowitz what his preferred translation is for seor, okay? And then we'll enlighten ourselves because he's the most sourdoughy expert that I know of. Yeah, okay. V'hu amru yisala b'yom harishon tashbisu seor mibatechem. This is what it means when it says, on the first day, you shall cause seor to cease from your household. The Korean, what's weird about that pasuk halachically?
You should have gotten rid of it before the first.
Yeah, this is because Machma is talking about the first day of Pesach, but you do this before the first day of Pesach, right? Yeah. And Bekorim also Chachamim biur, and the Chachamim call it biur. This is something that one of my YU professors was very mocked on. He hated it when people said, "Oh, you're having a class in biur tefillah." Oh, really? You're gonna destroy tefillah? And he was like, "There's biur, which is destruction, and then beur, which is commentary or explanation." So yeah, that's one that a voice that got stuck in my head from once he said it. But not some biur chametz, and it means the destruction of chametz. Yeah, because levayer, it definitely means to eradicate or destroy. Gemara Sanhedrin, Gemara Divnei Marava. So in Sanhedrin, in the Talmud Yerushalmi, Amru chametz chayavin alav aseh v'los aseh. It says chametz, you're chayav on it with an aseh and a los aseh. Aseh al biuro dichsiv tashbisus or mibatechem. The aseh is on its destruction, as it is written, you shall cause leaven to cease from your house. Lo taseh or lo yimate b'vatechem. And lo taseh is that leaven should not be found in your house. And the laws of this mitzvah are explained in the beginning of Pesachim. Yeah. Now, why does this mitzvah come second in the? Wait a minute. Now I got myself confused. In the Mishnah Torah, then the issur of eating chametz on the 6th. Yeah. So the question is on the Mishnah Torah, right? We understand why this one comes first in the Sefer Mitzvos, don't we? Why? You tell me.
Because if you are getting rid of it, you're not going to eat it.
Yes, but more practically than that is that you do this mitzvah first, right? You do this mitzvah on the night of the 14th, and then the mitzvah of not eating chametz on the day of the 14th comes later. Did I say something that didn't make sense, or?
No, it makes sense.
Okay, what was it? Say it again. Are you time the mitzvah before Pesach of tashbisu? That's it's difficult, right? Because yeah, I mean, according to the Rambam, yeah, when you remove it from your house and destroy it. Actually, well, I'm not sure, right? Because you're saying that you don't actually. Right. Yeah, I guess we have to wait till we get to halachos for that to see how he formulates it.
Right.
Yeah, this whole question. Yeah, and then also there's the question of is it a machlokas rishonim whether bedika is part of the deraisa?
Yeah.
Isn't there a ran on that or something?
I remember, but I thought it was like Tucker that it was their bond.
I don't remember. I
I remember I did a long time ago. Yeah, we were mevayer from our minds as it were. Yeah, that is an issue to write. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next, we do kuf sadi zayin in the los essay. No. Oh, sorry. I was in the essay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Kuf sadi zayin. So that should be on the next page. Yeah, it is. Okay. Good. Oh, we forgot to look at the minion mitzvos, right? For this last one. Oh yeah, that was the one you told us about. So what does this one say for the minion mitzvos? Kuf sadi zayin. Yeah.
The low level chametz the low ye are chametz.
Okay. Well, Yeah, chametz Pesach. Yeah, people are really pedantic about. You hear people being pedantic about whether you call it Pesach or chag hamatzos.
No.
I've heard people say that Pesach is just the 14th of Nisan, and like chag hamatzos is the 7-day holiday. We'll tell that to the Rambam, who just said don't eat it on Pesach, right? Yeah, I've heard people get all verschimmeled about it. Yeah.
I'm pedantic about a different thing, which is people calling it like Pesach and like Shavuot from Sukkot, and like those are not like parallel names.
Yeah, there's plenty to be pedantic about, especially on Pesach. Yeah.
Yeah, Pesach, Tarif, and Chag, or Chag Hamatzos, Chag Shavuot, Chag.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
What does pedantic mean?
There you go. Yeah.
It's actually pedantic.
Are you saying that so that you can make the joke, or are you asking?
No joke.
The joke is people who are very patronizingly like particular and correcting people about stuff. Which I thought you were trying to bait me into being pedantic. Yeah, which one did fine. Yeah, okay. Design we just said. Yeah, so let's look in the Sefer Mitzvos. Mitzvah ha-shavav v'tish mumea. Okay, so this is the prohibition against eating chametz on Pesach. That's how he said it in the Minion and Mitzvos, right? Who amru lo yochal chametz. Ye'achel or yochal? Ye'achel. Okay. Chametz shall not be eaten. Bi'er shehu b'kares. So it explained that it is punishable by kares. Amar kichol ochal chametz v'nichrasa im hayamezid. One who eats it will be cut off if it was intentional. Im hayashogeg chayav chatas kavua. And if it was shogeg, if it was unintentionally chayav chatas kavua. Okay, that one's simple, right? Yeah. Okay, fine.
I think by the way, the Pesach versus chag hamatzos.
Yeah.
Isn't that like in the chicken? Like the first day.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not saying it's pedantic without basis, but I'm saying it's pedantic if you hold that like it's wrong to speak of 7 days of Pesach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, according to that, so those people who are pedantic, the Sefer Mitzvos, you can see you see that you're allowed to eat chametz the rest of Pesach.
Or yeah.
It's there with Mitzvah Torah.
Yeah. Okay. We might come back to something with this after we're done. We'll see if we have time. Okay. Next is chavurah, which you want to read the minion mitzvot there?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on the same page. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay, so don't eat tarovas chametz. So he says here in the Sefer Mitzvos, chavurah, המצווה השמונה ותשעים ומאה, הזהר שהוזהרנו מלאכול את הדברים שיש בהן תערובת chametz, things that contain a mixture of chametz, אף על פי שאינם לחם, even though they're not bread. כגון המוריס והקוטח ודומיהן. So those are all the fun dishes, right? Muriat and kutach. I don't know if there are good translations for these. Anyone know?
No.
Okay.
It's kutach.
Well, it's a dip, but it's like it's fermented. Really?
It's
I'm gonna look it up on chavurah.org.
made of I think sour milk, multi
Yes.
and salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds nasty.
Yeah.
What am I?
And your moldy bread toast.
What did you say that the
Dairy dip.
It is there.
Kutza.
It is there.
Yeah.
But it's sour milk.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I can't look it up in the I have to look it up in the awkward yeah, if they do, then I don't know where it is. I think they have the Sefer Mitzvos Hakatzer. What's the one of the Sefer the Chofetz Chaim wrote?
I don't know.
Okay, hold on. I just have to know. Sefer Mitzvos. What this is in Lotza say Kuf Tzadi Ches, we said?
Yes.
Kuf Tzadi Ches. Oh, there's no translation here?
Okay, it's just do the parish in Stefan and Paragimel Mishnah Aleph.
All right, good luck. All right, yeah, we're not gonna look it up right now. You are? Okay, fine. We're gonna leave you behind. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's go on though. Yeah, it's weird, right? Let's read on and then we'll ask it with
Yeah,
full
it's like-
knowledge.
It really seems like a particular din of value.
Yeah. V'hu amru kol. Sorry. V'hu amru kol machmetas lo sochela. So it says any. So I got to ask Josh what the difference is between seor and machmetas. Yeah. V'lafin mechilta, and it says in mechilta, kol machmetas lo sochela l'rabos kutach bavli v'shekar hamadi. Right. So that is specifically to add this Babylonian kutach and this Median beer or mead. I don't know if shekar is closer to our beer or our mead. V'chomit domi, and
beer because mead is made from meat.
I don't know if all meat is made from honey. I know that it typically is thought of. I thought it was made from different things as well. I don't know. I could be wrong
I
about that. Though.
thought the definition of meat is this.
Oh yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
So v'chomit hadomi and Edomite vinegar. Didn't hear about that. Yaho you chayavin leh. So you might think that you're chayav on these. Tamlomar chametz. So the public says chametz. Ma chametz miyuchad shu min gamor. Weird drasha. Just as chametz is distinct in that it is a complete category or species, yatsu elish ena min gamor. This excludes those that are not a complete category or species. Lama ba'u. Why did they come? La'avor aleim below sase, to make you transgress a low sase. So in other words, that's what it gets from kol machmetas. Weird drasha. According to Nispar b'psachim she'afa pishin asurin umutarin al achilasan ein chayavin al achilasan malchus elaim haya behen kazayis chametz b'kedei achilas pras. So even though they're usher and we are warned about their eating, one is only chayav malchus on them if he ate a kazayis of chametz in the amount of time of kedei achilas pras. Elaim haya behen eruv chametz pachas min ashir hazeh ein chayavin al achilasan malchus. But if there was in them a mixture of chametz less than the shiur, then you're not chayav in malchus when eating them. So in other words, if in the entire mixture you eat the whole thing and in that time you consume the kazayis of chametz, then you get malchus. But if not, then you're not. And neither way do you get chametz. I mean, do you get chametz? Do you get kares? Yeah, you definitely get chametz.
Yeah.
The best part. Much better than the kares. Did you find out what the recipe and pictures are of kutach bavli?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay,
I
yeah.
think when we find out, we can make it for us.
Yes. We can have a kutach bavli party.
Yeah.
Yeah, with some mead, median mead. Yeah, maybe that's why I thought mead, because it's median, and it just got in my head. Okay, next.
Wait, question on
Yeah.
that? Do we have this separate Hitler because like a normal Isra Fila would never include? Like we just have a normal Isra Fila, like Torah would be popular.
Well, it depends on the shiur, right?
Yeah. So it's saying even, but I'm assuming it's saying even if it's like more than Shishim.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is more machmir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So it's including something that a normal Isra Fila would not include.
Right. Yeah.
Instead of modifying the Isra Fila, just creates it.
Yeah, I think so. That makes sense.
I
Yeah.
figured out what it was in 5 a.m.
Yeah. Ah, that's why they talk about those lefties.
Talk about so I thought it was like doing something kind of.
No, it's separate.
Isn't essentially what you're saying. This isn't more like it's in the explanation.
There's two Isra.
But if I didn't tell of it, I didn't tell Novus that has anxiety performance, which is there for the class. My English is for a math mission done by attorney. I'm not by attorney, so I'm like open is for performance.
No, just Torah.
Yeah, I think that's Katarovis.
Anxiety performance.
Oh, that's a good question. Meaning if it's a kazayis in what you ate of the
But
Torah
it's more than Shishim.
is more nutrition, yeah.
No, it's less than Shishim, man.
I think, I mean, we're- it sounds like you're not chayav kares, right? Because it sounds like you're saying from here that if you eat a tarovis and there's a kazayis in it and you eat a cross, then you're chayav malchus. Yeah. So it's only on pure chametz that you're chayav. Yeah.
Even if
It's
it's not
good.
bottom, like even if it's less than Shishim.
If it's less than
Sorry,
shishim,
more than the ratio is less than Shishim.
the ratio would, yeah.
It's more fun than the other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think we're gonna have to look at the halachos.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to find a lot of beautiful performance.
Well, we're not doing all of them, but I said we're going to do the Rosh Prakim, and this is the definition of the Isser, so I assume we'll talk about it then. Yeah.
More sin, which we had Maurice before.
Yeah.
Is I think
Maurice is the name of every Jewish guy who's like in his 70s, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think wheat pot.
Oh, that sounds pleasant. Yeah. Okay. Next one is Reish, which is at the bottom of that page. Shlo yira'ich chametz kol shiva is how he said it in the chatper. Minin Mitzvos is.
Shelo yira'ich chametz, nemar v'lo yira'ich lecha chametz.
So there he implies never. Here's only kol shiva. So hamitzvah ham. Ooh, I forgot he said this. Hamitzvah ham lima masayim. The mitzvah that completes 200. It's weird. Hashara shutarnu shelo. Was it?
Did he say that by 100 as well?
I don't know. Yeah. So the prohibition for chametz to not be seen in all of our dwellings all 7 days. This is what is said, and then he quotes the full pasuk. Chametz should not be seen by you, nor shall leaven be seen by you in all of your boundaries. And these are not two separate losas in two topics. But they are one subject. Ufirush amru Pesach hakatu b'chametz v'siyim b'seor lomar lecha hino chametz or hainu chametz chaino seor. So it's telling you that chametz and seor are the same thing. Kolomar she'in chiluk bein seor atmo o hadavar shnis chametz. Meaning there's no difference between the sourdough itself and the thing that has become fermented from it. Yeah, so we gotta ask Josh about that. Umish avar, because I think sourdough, the way we talk about sourdough now, it is just a piece of it's like a. I mean, if you take sourdough and you ferment stuff with it and make that into a dough, and you take a piece off of that, then that still is the original sourdough. I mean, it serves the same function. Yeah. Umish avar v'hinyah. I'm a bread on arts, so but I think I know that much.
You know what I mean?
The way you have is like a sourdough culture, and then you like take that and you add it to
Part of it, sourdough culture.
Yeah, better than Hellenistic culture.
Yeah.
and all you do is spit in a jar of it, and are occasionally fed like sugar.
Right.
Every kid's dream. Okay. Umish avar v'hinyah chametz b'rishuso eno chayav malchus. So one who violates this and leaves chametz in his property is not chayav malchus. El im kein lakach chametz b'pesach v'konehu kadei shehe osen ma'aseh. Right. So he only transgresses this if he acquired chametz on Pesach and if he bought chametz on Pesach and acquired it in a way that involves an action, right? Because if you just have it there and then it becomes Pesach, I mean that's the whole thing with the ownership. You can't have ownership over it, and so it turns out that like you're not over the Isser with a Misa because you're just it just becomes Pesach and then now it's there and you can't own it. So like the only way to actually be actively over it is to buy it on Pesach or to make it, right? I mean, yeah. All right. So it says in the Tosefta, one who leaves over chametz on Pesach onto Pesach, and then one who holds forbidden vineyard stuff does not get malchus. Okay.
There is Kilayim in his skills that he does leverage.
Right. It's just not an action. Okay. Next is a say. Okay, next is Reikhalef is the next one there. So is that chametz should not be found in our property even though it is not seen. O pikadon, or we have collateral. Yeah, I always forget that word. Collateral. V'hu amru shivas yamim or lo yimate b'vatechem. It says. Leaven should not be found in your house. And this is also you get malchus on it on the condition that you did an action like we explained, meaning it's the same form. According to the rules in Masechet Shavuot. Okay, I don't know what that is. Ufir amru b'makomos mitfar over b'val yira u'bal yimatzeh. He transgresses both of them. So this is these are identical isurim, right? According to, I'm pretty sure these are identical. Bal yira chametz and bal yimatzeh chametz.
Two of the same exact thing.
Yeah,
More.
I think functionally, that's what he's saying now. Is he's saying that you're over on both. So maybe there are differences. I don't know. Oh, so each one teaches about the other one something that wasn't included in it. So there are differences. So, but if you are over one, or if you retain possession of chametz, then you're over on both.
Oh,
So meaning, functionally, just make sure I understand this. Functionally, if you're over one, you're over on both. But in terms of how they learn out the isurim, then they get different things from each one.
I think you wouldn't be over volume if you had a two.
Oh yeah.
I think it's the ownership. I think
Uh-huh.
what it is.
I mean, he does mention Pikadon here, and he did mention it before, so.
Yeah,
That might
like
be.
you're right on the cross. I mean, it's really right on the cross.
Mhm.
Right, but you don't get cars.
No. You can keep your business going.
I mean, it sounds good.
Does anyone else count as two mitzvos? As one mitzvah? Good question. We'll have to check our all Torah mitzvah aggregator.
But
Yeah,
the Baal doesn't.
yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Everyone talks about that nowadays. Probably online on
It counts each day. Yeah. I'll check it out after. Okay. Let's do the next one. So this is gonna be Asay Kufnun-ches, which is on the next. Oh, sorry. So this one goes out of order. So this is on the last full page, right? Before the, yeah, see it at the bottom? Kufnun-ches v'mitzvah hashmona v'chamishim u'me'ah hatzivui shnistaviu lechol matzah b'leil ha'chamisha asar b'Nisan, to eat matzah on the night of the 15th of Nisan. Bein sheish keves ha'pesach u'bein she'ein, whether you have the paschal lamb or not. Who amru be'erev tov lamatos. This is what it means when it says in the evening you shall eat matzos. Uferish amru be'erev tov lamatos hakasav kaval chova. It says that the pasuk established it as an obligation, meaning an obligation even when you don't have the korban pesach. Ukvar nisbar pesachim shachilas matzah b'leil harishon chova mikan ve'elach rishus. So it already explained in the beginning of pesachim that the eating of matzah on the night of the first night is an obligation, and from then on it's optional. Ukvar nisbaru dinei mitzvah zova mesachas pesachim, and the laws were already explained in pesachim. Yeah. Okay. Last one, which is the longest. Yes.
Yeah, it's just the meaning of this was because that whole matzah the little them and was referring to Lila Rishon and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. This last one is one we're going to return to probably when we get to the halachos, because it's a very different and detailed presentation of this mitzvah. Okay. Kufnun Zion. So what do you want to do, the minion mitzvahs there?
Yeah. The Sefer BCS the time by Lila Harishon Shalachat Hamatzah.
Okay.
You got to the Vilcham Vayom.
Yeah. And here it is Hamitzvah Hashva V'Chamishim U'Me'ah Hatzivu Shnisvin L'Saper B'Tis V'Rayim B'Leil V'Chamisha Asar B'Nisan, to tell about the going out from Egypt on the night of the 15th of Nisan, B'Tchilat Halayla, at the beginning of the night. Kafi, now this is the most important line, Kafi Tzachos Lashon HaMasaper, according to the eloquence of the teller. Right. So this is what. I mean, I first heard this from Rabbi Chait, but but it's not like Ram or Rabbi Chait are the only ones who hold this, but the real mitzvah is to tell the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim according to your own formulation and in your own way, with your own words, right? And the Ritva says that the whole Haggadah came about because it's not so simple that you could just tell the story any way you want, because there are certain halachos you have to do, like he'll list them, So the Haggadah was put together to be like a bare minimum framework that you're still supposed to tell the story in your own way, but like you rely on that to make sure that you say all of the like technicalities. Mm-hmm. But the real mitzvah is to say it according to your own way.
So right, so it'd be better to have a bare minimum Haggadah as opposed to other extra stuff in it.
Like in what sense?
Like the Rambam Haggadah just has the like bare minimum sort of, and then like sort of like has more stuff.
It doesn't have a ton more stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't say enough to the point where it'd be better.
It might feel like
Yeah. We'll see how much more. All right. Then he says, the more you increase in speech and in description of the scenario, in the greatness of what was done to us. I think this is like bad greatness, meaning badness. And the injustice, the evil that was done to us by the Egyptians. Yeah. V'heach nifra lanu Hashem mehem, and how God wrought punishment for us on from them. I think it's how that's nifra. And in giving thanks to God on all the chesed that He bestowed to us, the better it is. And from here, I believe, either I heard from Rabbi Chait or from the Rav, that this is how you see that the Hallel in the Seder is a kiyum d'oraisa. Because he's saying that giving hodah on the fact that God redeemed us is part of the mitzvah d'oraisa. Okay, but the more you do it, the better. Kamosha Amru, as it says, the more you prolong the telling of the Yitzias Mitzrayim, more praiseworthy. The pasuk that was said in commanding us in this is his statement: "You shall tell your son." Uva Pirush, and the explanation comes and says, "You shall tell your son." Yaakov Rosh Chodesh. You might think that you tell him from Rosh Chodesh, which I never quite got clear. What exactly does that halal mean practically? Does it mean you do sipur on Rosh Chodesh? But maybe Rosh Chodesh always sounds weird, right? Like you start doing sipur then and continue it through. Yeah, I don't know. Yaakov Rosh Chodesh Tamlo or Bayamahu. Pasuk says on that day. I think in context, the Bayom Hahu is talking about the 14th of Nisan, which is why it now says, O Bayom Hahu, Yachom Yibod Yom. So you would think it's while it is still day, meaning the afternoon of the 14th when you should be korban Pesach. Tam Lomar Ba'avur Zeh. So the pasuk says, because of this. Lo Amarti Ela B'Shashish Mata Umar Munachim Lefnacha. This was only said at a time when Mata and Mar are resting in front of you, and that's the night of the 15th. Not while it's still day. From the beginning of the night, that is when you're obligated to tell. In Mechilta it says that it is implied from when it says, when your son asks you, you might think that when he asks you, you tell him, then you don't tell him. Pasuk says, you shall tell your son, even though he did not ask you. So this only tells us you're obligated when you have a son. Minayin. So how do you know that you are chayav in this mitzvah when you're by yourself or among others? Tamalomar, it says, Vayomer Moshe El Ha'am Zachor Es Hayom Hazeh. You shall remember this day. Klomar Shehu Tziva L'Zachro. He is commanding you to recall it. Kamoshe Amar Zachor Es Yom HaShabbos L'Kacha. As it says, recall the day of Shabbos to sanctify it. And recollection here means like verbal recollection. Ukvar Yadata L'Shonam Afil Kulanu Chachamim Kulanu Nevonim Kulanu Yodim Es HaTorah Mitzvah Alina L'Tzafir B'Yitzias Mitzrayim. And you know their language, since you've been doing Sedarim every year. Even if we are all wise, if we are all understanding, if we all know the entire Torah, if we all know the Torah, it is a mitzvah upon us to tell the Yitzias Mitzrayim.
I actually had a flashback. So
yeah. And the laws of this mitzvah are explained in Pesachim. So just to repeat something we've said a lot of times, in the Sefer Mitzvos, the Rambam's goal is to understand, is to explain each mitzvah by way of Perush Hashem. And I think for all the mitzvahs that we've done so far, then that has been kind of clear, that all he's explained is when it says don't eat harav chametz, this is what it means. When it says don't have chametz be seen, it means this. Here it does seem like he's including some details of the halachos into the formulation of the mitzvah itself. And so it's again, I'm not saying I can answer this in universal theory, but it is interesting just which details he put in and which ones he doesn't. Yeah. Okay, so game plan is tomorrow we'll do the Rosh Prakim of, let's try to do the first and second parak of Chametz U'Matzah and just see if that is realistic and maybe more. We'll see. And we'll see how far into it we want to get. Yeah. All right.